All right, guys. I apologize. I was trying to get myself together here. My shirt is just like I got, it's one of these dresses, y'all. Sorry. um, it's kind of wrinkled. I didn't know it was wrinkled like this. Just ignore my clothes, okay? Just ignore me, okay? Ignore my clothes. Let's not talk about my clothes. I did not know it's gonna be. Do I have it on right? It's got to be on right because this is the front. Anyway, sorry. I was just trying to put on something because I had my robe on earlier. So and I'm trying to get myself to just ignore what I look like, okay? Just ignore me. We're just trying to get the information out. Okay. Just ignore my looks and all that. I'm just as long as I'm not naked. As long as I'm not naked, so it's supposed to be like going up here, but and this is part is wrinkled. Okay, we're not gonna talk about my clothes, okay? We're not gonna talk about I'm just trying to get something that's warm because this thing here makes my arm cold. The air conditioner's on. Well anyway, let's get started. Okay. Let's get started from the beginning. Okay, and I'm gonna show you some tactic that the government use. Okay. You guys know that I'm gonna bring up some of this stuff for you guys so you can see. Okay, as you guys know, there was an indictment that was set forth by the government in the New York federal case, right? The original indictment was was sent out on June 20th, 2019. That is the indictment that was set forth in the New York federal case, right? And it became unsealed once Robert was arrested in July of 2019, I think of July the 11th, right? But New York was actually the jurisdiction that actually started the ball rolling for Robert. Okay, Illinois came in July the 11th, if I'm not mistaken, and they took him into custody on July the 12th of 2019. Okay, what I'm going to show you is what the original. It's a dress. It's a dress, y'all. Hold on. Let me show y'all. It's a dress. See, they bought messing with me, y'all. It's a dress. See, it's a dress. It's not a shirt. It's a dress. Um she said my boob's not showing. It's just the skin right here. It's a skin. They messing with me. I'm trying to get y'all playing around. Y'all play too much. I'm trying to get some information. Okay. All right. When they set out the indictment, there's three supersede. There's an original indictment. There's a second is superseding, and there's a third. What I'm going to show you. Okay, the first one. We're gonna go by the first one here. I'm gonna share this with you. I'm gonna share everything with you guys on my screen. Okay, let's see. Let's close these out. I'm gonna close. I got so many things open in here. I'm gonna close some things out. Okay, let's close this out. Close this out. Close that out. Close that out. Close that out. Okay, we're gonna open this one up. We're gonna open up the first indictment. Okay, we're gonna open up the second one. And we're going to open up the third one. All right. The first one we're going to open up was dated June 20th. Okay, let's go and share that one. All right. We're going to share this one, okay? Let me open this up for you guys so you guys can see, okay? All right, June 20th, 2019, and the Brooklyn office, right? This is when his first indictment, right? And it gives introduction of the indictment. I'm not going to read the definition of enterprise. I'm not going to read any of these things. What I'm getting ready to do is read the Jane Does, okay? This is what I'm going to read, and I want you guys to keep in mind of this, okay? Okay, I'm going to read the Jane Does. I'm going to go down. Okay, here it is. This is the Racketeering Act 1 for Jane Doe number 1. Okay, look at this. This is Jane Doe number 1. Now let's put it into place. Okay, it says in or about or between May 1999 and October 15, 1999, both date being approximate and inclusive, within the District of Illinois, right? Illinois. The defendant, Robert Sylvester Kelly, together with others, did knowingly, intentionally employ, use, persuade, induce, entice, and coerce a minor, to wit, Jane Doe number 1, an individual whose identity is known to the grand jury, to engage in sexual explicit conduct for the purpose of depicting one or more. Okay, remember, Jane Doe number 1, right? May 1999. Write that down there, right? Write it down. Jane Doe number 1 was May 1999 to October 15, 1999. Okay, Jane Doe number 1. Mind, just remember that. Jane Doe number 1. In the first indictment, Jane Doe number 1 was a particular person, May 1999 to October 15, 1999. But write that down. Jane Doe number 1. And remember, this is the first indictment. Write down first indictment behind that perspective. Okay? That's Jane Doe number 1. Look at the date. Okay? And remember, they had sex, whatever. Jane Doe number 2. Between 2003 and 2004. Both date being approximate, and they have, okay, we're not going to read all the extra stuff. Jane Doe number 2, an individual whose identity is known to the grand jury, okay? And Jane Doe number 2, by deceit and enticement to go from one place to another with intent secretly to confine her against her will in violation of Illinois Criminal Code 510 That's not important. Just remember, Jane Doe number 2, Jane Doe number 2 was from 2003 to 2004, right? Jane Doe number 2. DJ number 2. DJ number 1. Okay? Now, Jane Doe number 2 is still the Mann Act, number 2. Now, we're going to go to Jane Doe number 3. Hold on. Jane Doe number 3. Okay? Jane Doe number 3, so met him in 2009, May 2009 to 2010, January 2010. But we know who that is. That's Geronda Pace. We're going to write her name down here. So she's Jane Doe number 3. She's Jane Doe number 3. We know who that is. That's Geronda. Number 1, we don't know who that is, but number 2, we don't know who that is really, right? So, but we're just putting them down. We know Jane Doe. This is the first indictment, right? We're not going to go into details about this, but I'm just pointing out some things and changes and things like that to try to get a conviction. I'm just going to show you. Now we're going to go to Jane Doe number 4. This is still number 3. This is still number 3. And now number 4. You see what they said, Jane Doe number 4? Jane Doe number 4, the defendant, Sylvester Kelly, committed the following acts. 7 acts. Okay. Jane Doe number 4, y'all. Write it down. In or about July 15, 2015. July 2015. July 2015. Jane Doe number 4. So Jane Doe number 4, around 2015, right? 2015, July. Remember the date now, July 2015. Within the District of Connecticut, and defendant Robert Sylvester Kelly, together with others, did knowingly and intentionally transport an individual with Jane Doe number 4, an individual whose identity is known to the grand jury. So that means the grand jury knows about Jane Doe number 4. Did y'all listen to this? Grand jury know who Jane Doe number 4 is. Jane Doe number 4 is from July 2015. Okay? And engage in sexual activity which a person can be charged, criminal offense, violation of Connecticut general. Okay, so you don't know how old this person is right now, right? But we know that's supposedly supposed to happen in July 2015 in Connecticut, right? The defendant, Robert Sylvester Kelly, together with others, knowingly, okay, we know that part, blah, 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 right? Now, they saying minor, coerced minor in July 2015, right? In the state of Connecticut. Connecticut legal age of consent is 16. But this person supposedly is under the age of 18. And so they're trying to put this as part of the case for having sex in Connecticut. So are they saying that this person is 16, that he met in July 2015? Transported her to Connecticut, 2015. And then they mentioned California for that same Jane Doe, October 2015. Now we know who Jane Doe number 4 is. Who is Jane Doe number 4? That is Azriel, y'all. Jane Doe number 4 is Azriel. They change her from being 4 to number 5 in the 3rd supersede. Okay, we're not going to jump the gun yet, but okay, look. They have her having been transported to Connecticut, California. You see? California. Are they doing a statutory rape? See? California. And then that's now minor number 4, right? All right, okay, we got that. So we know that's Azriel. She moved from 4 later on to 5. All right, so Jane Doe number 5 is who? Let's see. If we look at the in the definition here. Okay, on May 18, 2017, within Eastern District of New York, May 7, 2017, May 18, 2017. Something's wrong with that date. This is supposed to be Eastern District of New York, The defendant Robert Sylvester Kelly, others did intentionally transport individual Jane Doe number 5, who is known to the grand jury, so they know exposure to the venereal disease. That is supposed to be faith. This is faith. So they saying it happened in May 2017? Okay, you see that, right, y'all? So look at the date, May 2017. You see them perspective. You asking some good questions, y'all. We're just pulling out some of the stuff, okay? This was the first indictment. You see the information, the craziness, the stuff. You see that, right? We have Jane Doe met him, the first Jane Doe, 1999 to 1990. We know that's not Aaliyah. And you notice there's no bribery in this, right? Yeah. You see how they try. No bribery in the first indictment. So they were missing a leg to the two part of a racketeering. So trying to build a racketeering case, but they didn't have all the pieces to it. So they had to continue to build. Okay, now that's first indictment. So you guys, you wrote down the people, right? You wrote down the five Jane Does, right? The first one was 1999, May of 1999 to October 15 of 1999, right? Jane Doe number 2 was from 2003 to 2004, right? Jane Doe number 3 was Geronda. We know that one, right? That's what the number she had before, number 3. Then we have Jane Doe number 4 was Azriel's, but they saying that it was 2015 in July, right? Right? And then we have Faith was May 2017, right? Through February 2018. That was Jane Doe number 5. Okay. You got it, right? Okay, y'all got that. Okay. Now let's go to indictment number 2. They had to do it as superseding because they see themselves, they were screwing up. That was the first one, y'all. That was the first one. Really, they did it a couple of times, but that was the first one. Okay, now we're going to go to superseding indictment number 2. And we're going to focus on the Jane Does now. Remember, y'all, we're going to focus on the Jane Doe. That was the first indictment. That was in July 2019. Now the second superseding indictment came about, and we're going to share that one. Okay, number 2. We see the date. See the date right there? December 5th, 2019. And you see S2 right there? S2 means the superseding number 2 indictment. You see that? They found out they were missing a one leg to their plot, right? They were missing one leg. So that one leg, they need to put in something that's going to help, because that one part is not going to fit in. They're not going to get a conviction. They can't even get a real ruling on a racketeering because they need two parts, right? So they redone. They come back with another one. Now they got to switch the people around. Now they got to switch, because remember, the final, now we know Jane Doe number 5 is Azriel, but on this one, she's Jane Doe number 4. Okay. Now let's go and check out Okay, let's go in here. We're not going to go with the enterprise. We're not going to go to that definition. We're going to move down to Jane Doe's. Let's go down. This is the superseding indictment here. All right, here we go. Are you ready? Bam! Here we go. Let's go. Let's go. Oh, they got to bring in the bribery. Guess what? Racketeering, Act 1, bribery. Did they have that in the first one? Did they have that one in the first one? No. They didn't have bribery in the first one. They did not. They did not. They did not have bribery. Oh, they had the Mann Act, but they didn't have bribery. That was a missing piece that they didn't have in there. No, they didn't have a bribery. They just had Mann Act, Mann Act, Mann Act. No, the Mann Act was not sitting well with them. So what did they do? They went and got bribery. They had forced labor. Let's see. Let me go back up and see if they had the bribery. No, they had exploitation of a child. They had kidnapping. They had Mann Act violation. They had Mann Act. They had racketeering. They put exploitation of a child. They put Mann Act. They did not have bribery, y'all. They went back to the drawing table and put in the bribery. But they had to be very, very creative with the bribery. They did not have it in the original indictment. They had to become creative. All right, let's go. Let's go. Let's go picture. Let's go look at this. Okay. So we know from the beginning, we know for a fact from the beginning, Jane Doe number 5, which is Azriel, was Jane Doe number 4. Was Jane Doe number 4. And number 4 has always, always, always been part of this case. Always. She was brought in to be part of this case. Are you listening to me, people? Are you listening to me? She was Jane Doe number 4. She is Jane Doe number 4. She has always been part of this. Always. So now we got to figure out from the original indictment, she didn't flip. She was always there, y'all. She has always been there from the beginning. She has always, we thought in December 2019 that she just happened to get on. No, 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 no. She was Jane Doe number 4. She was Jane Doe number 4, y'all. We've been bamboozled, tricked, fooled. Okay, let's go to indictment number 2. This is when they decide to be creative because they were not going to get a conviction because there was a missing leg to this whole racketeering thing. Because if you get a description of racketeering, there's certain crimes that has to be part of it to become a racketeering. So let's go look at the definition of a racketeering. What parts do you need? You need 2 factors. Okay, let me go show you guys how what these racketeering, I got to stop sharing this and I got to go here and share this with you guys. Hold on. By definition, according to the definition with racketeering, it says here that it has to have three type of racketeering. There's the mafia has been linked to racketeering. There has to be bribery. There has to be some type of drug trafficking, and it has to be kidnapping. You see? They had one part. They had the kidnapping. So now kidnapping and the Mann Act, all of it went in together. So they had to find another leg to try to get him. So what they did is they came up with what? Bribery. 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 They did not have bribery in the original indictment. They did not have bribery into the original document. So they had to come up. They had to come up with it. They had to figure it out. Somebody had to go to the drawing board and figure out how they can get this man. How can we come in and set him, uh, get him? How can we get him? We need to come up with another strategy. We need to come up with another plan. So what did they do? They kept digging. They read Demetrius' book. They read different people thing, and what way we can come after them. What way we can get Demetrius? What we could do is threaten Demetrius, because Demetrius has done some crimes in the past that we know about. We can get him. So let's go ahead and read the second indictment of the people. Let's see how they switch these people around. Let's see how they switch them around. Hold on a second. Let's see how they switched them around. Because you guys wrote down who Jane. Okay, you first. Jane Doe number one was between May 1999 to October 15, 1999, right? Jane Doe number two was between 2003 to 2004, right? Jane Doe number four was July 2015. What we already know, that's Azriel, right? That's Azriel. Jane Doe number four was Azriel. Number three was Geronda, which was from 2009 to 2010, right? Then we know Faith was from May 2017 to February 2018. So we know that was okay. So now let's go inside of here, and I'm going to go ahead. Let's go and read the Jane Doe. We're not going to read, but okay. Here's where the bribery. They needed that extra, the other leg to make it stick. This is where the bribery came in. On or about August 30th, 1999, within the Northern District of Illinois, the defendant Robert Sylvester Kelly, together with others, did knowingly and intentionally cause another individual to promise and tender a public officer, public employee property, to wit, the United States currency, so they're trying to say because he took money, bribery. Here's the deal with bribery. Bribery is a case that the statute for bribery is only 3 years. So how did they were able to use a statute, an old crime? Well, it's not even a crime because he was never charged for it. Of something that happened 3 years, you had to get them within 3 years of the crime. This is 2019. You should not be able to go back and do a crime that you can only go for for 3 years. So how did they come about to doing that? Through RICO, exactly. So they went and they got Demetrius, who don't want to go back to jail, but they got him by the balls. They got him by the balls and making threats, and he got suckered into the threats. So now what they're doing, they're maneuvering the Jane Does around. Now they introduce Jane Doe as number one now, which we already know is the deceased. Rest in peace, Aaliyah Horton. Okay. They have her now. Let's come on now. Come back. My people. Indictment number 2, superseding indictment, like write down who's who again. So now we know Jane Doe number 1 now is Aaliyah. Jane Doe number 1 is Aaliyah, right? Jane Doe number 2, now we got to figure out, before Jane Doe number 2 is somebody we don't know that was in 2003 and 2004. So let's see who Jane Doe number 2 is now. Jane Doe number 2, known by the government. So they push number 2 from the number 1 spot to down to number 2. So we already know that person was May 1999 to October 15th to 1999, right? So we know that's Jane Doe, right? And we're going to figure out who 1999 is in a minute after we do this. So this is the superseding indictment number 2. So they pushed number 1 down to number 2 because they put Aaliyah there up there for bribery. They put Aaliyah there for bribery. Okay. All right. So that's number 2. Okay. So now number 2 is down from number 2 is now from 1 to 2. So now we're going to go down to number 3. Who is Jane Doe number 3? Number 3 is the kidnap person, right? So that's the 2003 person to 2004. We got that, right? And number 4 is what? Number 3. Now number 3 stays to number 3, which is who is that again? 2003. Yes, still number 3. Hold on, still number 3. So now, what did they do? They made it. Okay, we're gonna go to the new one. Okay, could we hold off from this one for a second? Because that's Geronda's still number 4. Was Geronda number 4 before? No, Geronda was number 3. Jane, what's the name was number 4? So Geronda is number 4 in indictment. Jane Doe number 4 is Geronda in the superseding indictment. Geronda. So number 3 is that person before. Let's see. Jane Doe number 3. Let's see. Jane Doe number 3 is the 2003 girl. 2003 to 2004 girl. We know who that is, but I'm not going to say anything yet until you guys figure it out. Because in the spinal thing, you'll see who it is, okay? And then we got Jane Doe number 5. So we got number 4 is Geronda. And then Jane Doe number 5 is who? That's when she became Jane Doe number 5. Azriel's Jane Doe number 5 as of December 2019. December, which is the superseding indictment. So she's Jane Doe number 5. And then, lo and behold, we got number 6. They made number 6 in here. See, hold on. Did they get a number 6 in here yet? Number 6 will be, oh, there she go, number 6. See, number 6. Number 6 is Faith. Okay. So, as of December, superseding, we have the bribery came in, was introduced, which is Aaliyah's brought in. We have Jane Doe number 2, which is the young lady who I'm going to tell you who that is later on. We have Jane Doe number 3, which is the same young lady. We're not going to tell you that. We have number 4 as being Geronda, number 5 being Azriel, and number 6 being Faith. Okay? Got that. because they were missing that missing leg, which was the bribery. Okay. Am I going too fast for everybody? And yeah, Tanya, you know who I was going to say. I was going to say someone in all of those, but we're going to wait. We got to wait. All right. So we got them, right? We got them. Latoya was never in there. Latoya was never in there. Latoya with Nika. Latoya was never in there. So stop. No, that Latoya was never in there. I'm going to show you who they are, because they moved. Okay, remember I did a lot of legwork on this. A lot of legwork. Okay, so that's the indictment number 2. Now let's go to indictment number 3, superseding indictment number 3. Let's go to number 3. Number 3, let's go in here. All right, here we go. All right, here we are. And then number 3. Number 3 was done when? In March 12, 2020. March 13 in 2020. Okay. Now they have to be very detailed in their paperwork, right? And they still wasn't finished. Let me tell you what happened with them, y'all. Let me tell you, because if they had to do another superseding, that lady judge that did the arraignment for the third superseding, she told them that if they did another superseding, they're gonna have to throw the case out. So what they did, they could not do another superseding, because if you know what it means when you're doing superseding, right? It means that you don't have your stuff together. You got to keep adding on. At one point, it's like, this is not really a case. You keep putting stuff. And she gave them a warning, because I was listening to that call, that hearing, right? And in that hearing, she said to them that if there's another superseding, basically the case is going to have to be thrown out, period. So they made sure that this third superseding, there was going to be no more. So instead of them coming back and doing a fourth superseding, because they know the case would have been thrown out, what they did is they snuck it in 2021's hearing by adding uncharged bad acts. They couldn't do a superseding for a fourth time, because if they did it, it would have been thrown out. And this is based on what the judge, it was a woman judge. She's the head of that whole court thing over there in New York. She's the one who did the arraignment for Robert back in May 2020, right? She said to them, if there's another superseding, it's going to get thrown out, because she couldn't understand why there's so many superseding, okay? Instead of them doing a superseding, they turn around and add them in 2021, in June or July 2021, as bad acts. So they found a way to trick the system. And instead of them doing another superseding, they did bad acts. So this is why I'm telling you, this is part of this whole lies, false information. Okay, there's more to this. Okay, y'all. I did a lot of work on this, and I'm just sharing. So you guys saw how they switched in the first original indictment. They didn't have a bribery part in there. They added that bribery once they got Demetrius. Once they told him, listen, if you don't help us, you're going to go to jail for some ABC did. You know what, government, let me tell you something. Every single one of us could go to jail right now for something that the government could put down that we did. I'm telling you right now, okay? All those that added Johnny to your tax return and Johnny was not related to you, you can go to jail too. Okay? All those who had all kind of stuff that they did, like you got extra. I'm just giving you just anything, any one of us at any time, unless you're a baby. You have committed a federal crime. Every single one of us have committed some sort of federal crime. The only thing is we haven't gotten caught on it. You know what I'm saying? Every single one of us. Something we do could be a federal crime. You could lie a little bit on your loan application. You could say that you made 50,000, and if you got like a penny wrong, they could go after you because you didn't make 50,000 that year. You made 49.99. So they could arrest you on a federal crime because you lied on a federal application. So I'm just telling you that right now. Okay. All of you guys that say, oh, I haven't committed a crime. Every single one of us have committed some sort of crime that the feds could come and get you. Because that's the way life is. The feds could come and get you. It's just that certain people it's gonna cost them too much to come after you. It's gonna cost them too much. So they rather go after the big dogs when they do something big than the small one. You know, like the drug things and the you know what I'm saying? Your little $1,000 that you lied about your loan application ain't gonna break. They're gonna come after you. So they just have things piled up. So when they ready to come after the person, they got them. That's why they have the conviction rate so high, because they know those applications that they do, they have the little fine print that you don't see, that you don't read, and you sign those papers because you're so happy to get in that home and that mortgage that you lie to try to get that funding from FAA, not FAA, from FAA, Fannie Mac, whatever. You guys have lied. Come on, all of you. I'm just telling you, everybody can go to jail. All of us can go to jail. I'm just telling you the truth. All of us, talk to the attorney. Every single one of us have committed a federal crime according to their guidelines. All of us. If you got a home, you probably committed a federal crime already. I'm telling you, you probably committed a federal crime. You probably have. If you didn't put exactly what you made in your thing, you know how sometimes we fluff up the thing to try to make sure that we have enough for us to be able to have for that debt to income ratio to match where we get that loan. You probably committed a federal crime. I'm just going to tell you that, okay? Just don't make it too big that they're going to come after you and go to jail, because they're going to get all of us, you know? I'm just going to tell you. So I'm not afraid of the feds. I'm not. So, yes, Fed, we all commit a crime. Okay. I'm telling you the truth. But okay, to back up to what we were saying, we're going back in here. So they got Demetrius, because Demetrius must have did some sort of crime, and they brought it to his attention because they've been gathering stuff for all of us, you know. So when they came to him to ask him about Mr. Kelly, and they went by his book, y'all. They went and read his book of something he said. Bam, we could get that. Because in his book, in his 2010 book, he said we went to the blah 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 for the wedding, blah 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 blah. They came to him, hey, you could go to jail because you part of this. You helped commit a crime. And you know the funny thing is, why are they not coming after the employee that actually took the bribe? Because they have a target. They have that main person they want to come after. And who is that person? Robert Sylvester Kelly. They're not thinking about that clerk. They're not thinking about that clerk. They're not thinking about Demetrius. They're thinking about that big whale right there, Robert Sylvester Kelly. Because you know why? In 2017, 2018, Mr. Kelly decided that he found out, hey, I am worth way more more money than I thought I was worth. I thought I was worth only 2 million. I'm worth about $1 billion. That triggered the government. Heck no. We will not let this black man have that much power, because when you have that much money, you have a lot of power. So what we're going to do, he's our target. All of a sudden, all of this stuff come about. So we got to maneuver this thing, and we're going to have to get him. So how they first start getting him, they had to come up with an indictment, right? They had to get some key players. They had to make some promises. They had to give some leeway to some people, because we have this target that we're coming after. Okay. Mr. Kelly was trying to protect himself by making some changes in some rules to help his organization, but he had people that were crooked and who was ready to who was working with them because of the promises that they were offering them. So they sold his soul to the devil. All right, so let's go to our indictment number 3. Let's go to the indictment number 3 here. Okay. Indictment number 3 is right here. All right, I'm gonna stop sharing 2. Was that 3 I was sharing? Yeah, that was 3 I was sharing. Yeah, sorry, that was 3. Let me close some of these other things out because I'm getting lost up here. Okay, so indictment number 3. Let's go in here and let's read what it shows. They went into detail because they got a little bit smarter, so they wanted to make more stuff. So if you notice, the indictment number 3 is 23 pages. The other ones were a little bit smaller because they were just an overview to try to hurry up and get them. And so now they want the story to be salacious. So now they got count 1, racketeering, right? So they decided to add more people to this. They didn't put a name of the person. Okay, so they put in 1994. What the heck do you think Mr. Kelly's going to remember in 1994? But listen to what they said as part of Racketeering number 1, because they want to make sure it sticks in New York. It says in or about or between January 1994 and the present. So they made it a wide range from 1994 or all the way to 2019, July, right? Who's going to remember everything you did from 1994? Do you remember everything you did from 1994? I don't. I don't think anybody does. Nobody on this earth remembers that well. It says, and the present, both dates being approximate and inclusive, within the Eastern District of New York and elsewhere, the defendant, Robert Sylvester Kelly, also known as R. Kelly, together with others, been a person employed by or associated with the enterprise, an enterprise that engage in activity which affect interstate and foreign commerce. Did knowingly and intentionally conduct and participate direct and indirectly in the conduct of affair of the enterprise pattern of racketeering as defined in Title 18 United States. They didn't even say what he did. But they gave a range from 1994 all the way to 2019. Hold on, I gotta sneeze. Hold on. Excuse me. Sorry. So what they did is came up with a be all catch all type of thing. So they gave him a range from the time they think that he started with the brand R. Kelly, 1994, which he started in, but before he was in public announcement. But he started. They're trying to catch everything he did, any concert, anything that any kind of money exchange that was done for the. Okay, I gotta change these. Hold on. For the name R. Kelly, they decided they want to catch all, be all, catch all. So from 1994 all the way to 1990, 2019, they want to catch everything. They wanted to catch everything, any transaction, any video depiction he has of anything. So they're using stuff like, remember what Dottie was telling you when she was talking about how they can even use a video as transporting in the current having interstate commerce, meaning like, okay, say he bought a videotape, right? And that video, okay, they're saying that he's was doing child pornography, right? So he bought the camera from New York, right? And then he videotaped somebody in Chicago using that same video camera that he bought in New York. So because he traveled from New York with that camera and then did that video, that's how they tying in into interstate commerce. Get what I'm saying? So if you guys have like say some clothes, well, no, you can't use clothes. Let's use a camera, because the camera is being used to supposedly do videotaping of child, that camera is using it to commit a crime. And since he purchased it from another state, that's interstate commerce, because he's bringing it over to the next state to commit a crime of videotaping an underage individual, child pornography. So that's what they use it. So they became very, 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 very creative on catching the crime. That's why I said any one of us can be charged, not convict, but charged for an indictment for using certain, especially if you're committing a crime with that particular product. So that's how they were able to get them. You know what I'm saying? So they had to become very, very creative. They sat there in their office trying to create a way to get this man. Because here's the main goal. The main goal is to make sure that this black man do not become super, super powerful with his finance. Because let me tell you something, if he gets that money, he's going to be powerful. People are going to listen to him, and we're going to be doomed. Why do you think they came after Bill Cosby? It's okay for somebody who is not black or Hispanic or somebody. It's no. They can't be that powerful. They don't want them to be that powerful. As long as you stay broke and not having finance, nobody's gonna believe you. Nobody's gonna listen to you. So we gotta stop them from becoming super super rich. We gotta them, because people are going to listen. He's going to have so much power. We are not going to allow this offspring of slaves to be that powerful. We're not going to do that at all. So what we're going to do, we're going to stop them. We're going to stop him in his track. And by all means necessary, we're going to use all kinds of tactics, because what? We are the government. So Mr. Kelly was already doomed. Was already taken to the slaughter. All right, let's continue reading what it says here. So from 1994 all the way to 2019, they have said anything that he done, no matter what it is, they can conscrew it. They can make it seem as if there's a racketeering. So they had to do a definition of what it is. Okay. So number one, they put the Racketeering Act here, right? This is part of Act 1, Count 1 Racketeering Act 1. So it says on or about August 30th, 1994, within the Northern District of Illinois, the defendant Robert Sylvester Kelly, together with others, did knowingly and intentionally cause an individual to promise and tender to public officer and public employee property, to wit, United States currency, that means money, currency, that such public officer and public employee was not authorized by law to accept. So, why isn't the employee in jail? Why isn't the indictment being set for some sort of criminal charges for this employee? Because it's not who they want. They want Mr. Kelly, with the intent to influence the performance of an act related to the employment and function of a public officer and public employee, to wit, the creation of a fraudulent identification document. Here's my question, y'all. Where is that ID? Where is that ID? They never produced that ID. They didn't even have it on record of that ID. Where is it? So, how can you charge for bribery? Do they have a videotape of that money being exchanged? Do they have film showing that Demetrius gave the money to the employee? Do they have that? So how could you say it happened? We don't have the ID. You don't have a videotape showing the money being exchanged. So how can the bribery come forth? Where's the ID? See, girl, you're right. They went by hearsay in his book. All right, here we go. They went by his book, y'all. They went by Demetrius Smith book. That is what they use as their evidence. Demetrius Smith book. They don't have the employee, because the person that came to the stand was somebody who didn't even take partaker. It's just a supervisor who's been working in that department for so long. They just gave an example of what could have happened. They did not have the evidence. Okay, let's go down. So that's the bribery. So for them, no ID shown, no video of money being exchanged between Demetrius and that employee, and no employee. Why the employee didn't come up? Why isn't there charges on that employee? Okay. All right, now let's go to sexual exploitation of Jane Doe number 2. Now, Jane Doe number 2 here is like the 1999, May to October 15th, 1999. Okay. And it says both date being approximate and inclusive. Within the Northern District of Illinois, the defendant, Robert Sylvester Kelly, together with others, did knowingly and intentionally employ use, persuade, induce, entice, and coerce a minor, to wit, Jane Doe number 2, an individual whose identity is known to the grand jury, to engage in sexually explicit conduct for the purpose of producing one or more visual depiction of such conduct. Such visual depiction were produced using material that had been mailed. Here we go. They doing mailed now. Mailed, had been mailed, shipped, transported in the state foreign commerce. Now you see what I was talking about? How you can take the video or whatever it is, was mailed, transported into. See, they being very, very creative, guys. Very, very creative. Then Jane Doe number 3 was the kidnap. This is the one, that's Sonia. This is the kidnap one right here. This is the kidnap one that you guys kept saying. 2003, 2004, that's Sonia. I'll write her name down on here, 2003. But you know what, y'all? Let me go pull up something. Let's pause right here. My throat is so freaking itchy. So let me go ahead and pull up something for you guys. Hold on a second, I'm gonna pull up something for y'all. Oh my God, my nose, my sinuses. Sinuses. Okay, hold on a second. I'm trying to pull up the thing for you guys. My nose is like itching me. Hold on, just hold on a second, guys. I apologize. I apologize. Hold on, guys. Hold on. Just hold on, yeah. All right, here we go. I am going to bring up, hold on a second, because we were talking about Jane Doe. Okay, I'm bringing up Jane Doe number 2, and I'm gonna go to detail of the Miss Sylvia Jackson in Love from H Town. Hey, Miss Butter. Okay, I'm gonna bring up Jane Doe number 2 because that was the one from 19. Yeah, from 2000. Wait a minute, they changed it around again. Yeah, Jane Doe number 2 is the 1999 to October 15, 1999, and that is from the third superseding indictment. Okay, so we're gonna bring up. Let's go bring up Jane Doe number. Hold on a second, just making sure I open up the right thing for you guys. Okay, here we go. I'm opening up the right one right now. All right, now this is the bad act motion. When they added those people in there. Okay, now let's go in and go look at bad act because it's gonna give you a description of Jane Doe number 2. Okay, we're gonna go up all the way up. Jane Doe number 2. Okay, the preliminary statement of facts. Jane Doe number 1, this is the bribery. Jane Doe number 2, right here. Jane Doe number 2, Racketeering Act, alleges that Kelly, together with others, enticed and coerced Jane Doe number 2, a minor, to engage in sexual explicit conduct with then visually recording such conduct. The defendant met Jane Doe number 2 in or about 1999 when she was 16 years old. After another enterprise approached her at a fast food restaurant and informed her that the defendant wishes to speak with her. Thereafter, while Jane Doe number 2 was a minor under 18, the defendant filmed their sexual encounter on multiple occasions, thereby creating child pornography using material that was mailed, shipped, and transported to interstate foreign commerce. So, guys, who is Jane Doe number 2? Guys, do you guys remember who Jane Doe number 2 was? Good question, actually. Good question. They never said who Jane Doe number two was. I was waiting for Butter. I was waiting for Miss Butter because she said she was gonna go sign and come back. Okay. Tanya said that they never said who Jane Doe number two was. Okay. Number two. Did y'all know who number two was? I was giving y'all a chance. Number two was Stephanie. Stephanie, you remember that? Stephanie was number two. Stephanie was number two. Stephanie was number two. And number three was Sonia. Because remember Sonia? She was the one that worked for the radio station, remember? The one who flew all the way from, I think, was it Utah? Someplace like that? To do an interview, and she fell asleep and blah, 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 blah. The kidnap one. Yeah, I got it? Okay. Okay. All right. So I had to go back there for a minute. I think that's a little bit too much for your brains today, right? So we've been on here for an hour and 17 minutes. So we're going to continue this. You guys had enough? You guys had enough? I showed you the three indictments and how they changed things up and how they switch it to try to make it fitting for them to get at a conviction. So do y'all see some of the tactic that they were using? I have so many questions. None of the math is matching. How did the case even come to trial? It's getting frustrating. Guys, ask the question. Come on in. I'm gonna put the link in. You guys can come and ask the question because I don't want to keep going forward until you guys get a full understanding of what happened. So here's the link. Come on in. Oh no, I'm not leaving. No, I'm not leaving. Guys, it's because sometimes you have to give people a chance to ask the question. So because I'm throwing some stuff on you guys that I really don't. This is like for somebody who has like a whole bunch of chess or something like that. Because this is supposed to go out like that. Okay. Thank you, Miss Butter. Okay, yeah, come on in. This is ridiculous. The signatures are still not. It's still not 1,000 people. All right, guys, you have any question? Come on in. Come on in with the questions. Come on in. Come on in. Yeah, I set some time out for y'all because I gotta start working in a few. I gotta go make you some money. Subscribe to both of. Hold on a second. I gotta mute this for a second. Sharon just popped up something in here. Oh no, that's not. On my phone. Hold on. Hi, baby girl. Hey, what you doing? I was on live. What's up? You at home good because Brandon's on the way there. Okay. He just going to get the sheets because we have our friends spend the night tonight, so sheets so they can sleep on clean sheets. Okay, so you're having a party? No, it's. All right, sorry guys, sorry about that. That's Dallas calling me. Y'all, they moved out. I'm talking about Dallas, and they act like they still live here. Now they come and get some sheets or something. All right, sorry. So Gotti, come on in. Come on in, Gotti. Come on in. Y'all don't have any questions from some of the stuff I just poured on y'all? It's more stuff, y'all. Just giving y'all a little break because it's a little bit too much to try to figure it out. So I wasn't muted. I was talking to Dallas. I knew I wasn't muted. I was trying to hit the mute and I hit the no, I didn't care about the mute part. No, I didn't. I wasn't trying to mute. Come on in. Come on in. Y'all don't have any questions? Come on in. Somebody come on and talk to me. Yeah. So you guys know that Azriel was there from the beginning. She didn't flip. She was always there from the beginning. No flipping happened. She was there from the beginning. They just moved her around. She was number 4 before, and she became number 5. She was there from the beginning. You see what they said? They said the grand jury. That means they had. Just dropped this. Oh my god! Oh, I broke my light. No, it's not broken. It's not broken. I thought I broke my light. It's not broken. I just push it back. Here we go. Here we go. Ashley's coming.
Hey, Auntie.
Hey.
I had to step outside.
Hey, Niecy Poo.
How's it going?
Good.
So I have a question. Did they
Uh-huh.
bring all these people in
Uh-huh.
just to make him seem like a bad person to the jury? Which I
Yes.
already know that the jury was already corrupt in the beginning, but still, what was all this? Like, where did all these people come from out of nowhere?
They came from the phone call. Remember, there was a call for anybody who had, like, remember Kim Fox did that call. So they had a
Okay.
number of folks ready to give their story. They had all kinds of people calling, all kinds. So, and they've never been vetted. But what they did is that anybody who had a picture with him, anybody that seems to line up with the date that they were looking for, they brought those people in.
Okay, but it doesn't have like it doesn't seem to have any credibility to the case.
It don't matter. They're the government. You see how they were able to get a conviction?
Got it.
Hey, Tamiria.
I'm on break from
Hi,
my kids.
Sylvia.
I'm not supporting smoking, just in case y'all see smoke in my background.
Don't you dare smoke.
I apologize.
Look, you better take the camera down because I got people looking at me. I'm trying to be good. So that's why I have to dress decent and not look like a bum on here. So
I support the rules.
go ahead, Tamira. Hey.
Hi, Sylvia. I don't have anything. I was like, I've been driving and doing stuff today. I just wanted to come on because you wanted someone to talk with you. So I really didn't have anything to say. I know that they didn't have any evidence against him, and they just pieced stuff together and brought all these people to speak, negative about him and make him seem like he was this bad person with no evidence, and then they just pieced them together to stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, Trouble. Hey, my
Hey,
little Trouble.
since we all in cars, I was like, I'm gonna come too. Let's do the car game.
Right.
Let's see.
So what do you think
So,
of the stuff I showed?
so I'm not gonna lie, I didn't get to see everything because I got a difficult patient. But from what I was seeing, I already think they were with the foolery. So I was gonna tell you to or ask you, not tell you, to play the video of Azriel when she was all, oh, that's my man, because that was July 24th, and
You
so
and that
that
music.
shows.
Hold on, y'all. Hold on. You and that music, sir. We can't do the music. To mute him. Go ahead, perspective.
I was just saying that shows that she was fake from the beginning because she was already in the indictment, although she was on social media saying that's my man, and yeah, for my man. You remember that?
Yeah.
So that would be a good video to intertwine with everything you're speaking of to show that this was a setup from the beginning.
Yeah. Definitely. Yes, Diane. Diane just asked, was Az working with the Fred from the jump? Yes, she was. Because it says, this is the part that got me an indictment. The indictment says the grand jury know the person. That means they went and did a testimony to the grand jury for them to say that it's known by the grand jury. You get what I'm saying? They spoke to the grand jury. You get what I'm saying?
But at this point, we know that they could tell the grand jury anything just to get the case heard and then not produce, and that's okay.
No,
so that's essentially what they did. They didn't have anything.
Perspective. When you're going to the grand jury for you to actually get a charge, the person has to testify to that particular thing, meaning that, you remember the old case? They said that those individual said it was not her. She said to the grand jury it was not her. You get what I'm saying? They have testimonies from that person. If they put it as a charge act, that means they have the person to talk to her. Because that's look at this. Hold on, I'm gonna bring it back up. The indictment. Hold on. I'm gonna share
So
the
the people
indictment.
that they had in the indictment, they didn't have them in the trial. They switched. They did switch and bait. They made it seem like they had it for like a sex charge, right? And then they switched it to RICO.
No. They had it as a RICO, but they were missing a part to RICO, because you have to have at least 2 parts to the RICO. So they needed another part. They had sex crime and the Mann Act was the same thing. So both the same thing. Because it's transporting, for sexual whatever, right? The Mann Act was the white man. It was a white, a black man transferring a white woman to have sex with her.
It was hot, y'all.
That it is.
Okay, I'm trying to, because I only heard up until the second indictment when they added the bribery and then switched the Jane Does. But essentially
they didn't switch. They just pushed them down. They add Aaliyah at the top and push the other ones down.
Aaliyah, not Adelina.
I didn't say Adelina. I said Aaliyah.
Oh, I misheard. I'm sorry.
I said they added Aaliyah. Maybe that's why I sound like Adelina. I said they added Aaliyah.
I see. So basically, as they were going, they were finding out what was true and what was not, and just fumbling around things.
When you say what was true or was not, a majority of them wasn't true. So I don't know if they found anything that was true.
So then they just spun the lies. How about that? Better wording. Yeah. They spun
what
the
they
lies.
were doing, right? They had to catch him, right? In order to catch him, put him in jail, they had to do something to. The whole ball started rolling when they started with the mute R. Kelly to stop his money, right? To stopping his money, that means he would not get a defense that would be adequate to what he was fighting.
And that happened.
You're breaking up.
Right before.
You're breaking up. We can't hear you. You're breaking up. You're breaking up. You're breaking up. Okay, Alvera says, if she was working with the government from the start, where does the LM fit in? His video fit in where he's telling how his mother and girlfriend flipped her. Remember, hey. She might have been having cold feet. You know how somebody in the beginning is part of it, and then because remember they were going back and forth into her to the hotel to the Trump to try to get her to come, and she was like she didn't want to do it. Remember? Can you hear me, y'all? Can y'all hear me? Is theirs or is it me? Can you hear me,
Yeah, I can hear
Ashley?
you.
I can hear you.
Okay,
I
it's
can
just
hear you.
her. Okay, people saying they can't hear. Maybe she wasn't fully cooperating with them. She might have gave her testimony to the grand jury, but maybe the stuff that she was telling wasn't the everything that she's telling now. Get what I'm saying? Now I'm speculating. I'm speculating because I don't know what the facts behind is. The facts is I know for a fact because it says it right here that the grand jury knew them. That means there was a testimony. They did, see, there it is right here. She said they did go to grand jury 3 times to get the indictment. I'm trying to understand how they got so many superseding indictments.
So the first time they went to the grand jury, they didn't accept it, right, Sylvia?
I cannot hear you. What
They
you
didn't
said?
have enough evidence. The first time they went to the grand jury, they didn't have enough evidence, right?
They had enough evidence. That's how they got the indictment. They got indictments. But see, here's the
Okay.
thing. You can get an indictment, but it's for them to get it to stick. They need evidence to help their case. So that's why they started doing superseding.
And then they used her to plant the stuff into his storage and then his phones and
I
stuff.
don't know. I don't know anything about that part. I'm not going to put
Okay.
stuff out there that I don't know.
Okay.
I'm not speculating things. I'm not, because I don't know. What I can do is tell you that on the document it says that they went to the grand jury. If the grand jury only know these people, that means they were there, that they testify to this. It's not Alvera. It's not that she flipped. She was always the government. She was always with the government. It wasn't that she just flipped. I'm going to bring back the indictment. On the first indictment, you see her name in there. Hold on, let me pull it up. Hey, Mad Pill. The first indictment, you see that she is part of the case, but she's just in a different spot. Hold on a second, let me bring it up.
If she's already a corrupt witness, how can she be included?
She's not a witness, she's supposedly accuser.
She sounds to me like she's an informant.
That's the same thing, right? Okay, now go here. See, at first they did not have the bribery. You notice count 1 is talk about the racketeering. Does not show. In fact, they didn't even go back to 1994 like they did the original. This is the original indictment, right? Right? They didn't have all the parts that they added on later on. So now, if you go to Jane Doe number 4, this is where she's at. Hold on. There we go. Jane Doe number 4 is coming up right here. Jane Doe number 4, here it is. It says the defendant, Robert Sylvester Kelly, committed the following act. Could you mute yourself, please? Mute. Y'all hear the car. Okay, it says the following acts anyone which alone constitute to racketeering, right? It says in or about July 15, within the District of Connecticut, the defendant Robert Sylvester Kelly, together with others, did knowingly and intentionally transport an individual, to wit Jane Doe number 4, an individual whose identity is known to the grand jury in the interstate commerce, that with intent that such individual engage in sexual activity for which a person can be charged for a criminal offense, to wit, violation of Connecticut General Status Section 53A-71A for sexual assault in the second degree. You hear this? So it says here that the this person actually gave testimony of her traveling from where she was to Connecticut, right? And there's had to have been some proof given. You know what I mean? Proof like plane tickets and stuff like that.
When was Azriel in Connecticut? I have to
In
ask that.
July
I'm like,
2015. July 2015.
so this is somewhere along the lines while she was with him, because I mean, she lived in Florida. Why is Connecticut even a thing?
Because she left. Remember, she was traveling with him to different states.
So why are they bringing up Connecticut? That's what I'm saying. Like, they brought up California because the statute, well, how do you say it? The age of consent is 18. So that's why they use California. Why did they use Connecticut?
Because this
What's
is
the age
showing a
of
pattern of
consent?
man act. This is showing a pattern of man act, taking somebody across state line to have sex with.
But if
But
that
did
was
he go to a concert? Didn't he have a concert?
that's what I was just about to say. If that was prior to, and they never mentioned this during trial, Connecticut. So if that was prior
Yes, they did. They
to,
mentioned Connecticut in the trial. They just didn't they didn't horn on it. They talk about, they asked her where the different states that they traveled to, and Connecticut was one of the states they mentioned.
so is Connecticut where her mom drove her to?
No, that was Florida.
The part that's confusing me, and I don't understand how it's even moving. The man had concerts. He's with his girlfriend. How could this even be going anywhere?
So the place that they drove to in Florida was 4 hours away.
That was in Florida. Yeah, that was Florida. Alvira, you said didn't the government concede that there was basically mistake of age in California? Yes.
So now we have to look up whether mistake of age can be used in Connecticut.
No, there's no mistake of age. Remember, the Connecticut is them having sex is man act. It's not underage, having to do with man act.
I see. Okay.
Okay. Because what they trying to prove that he transported people for the purpose of having sex, like prostitution type of thing, without saying prostitute.
So they're not charging them with prostitution.
So what they said was
them. Remember, it's not about them.
Oh, I was reading that.
Oh, sorry, I was pushing it up.
Okay. This is cricket because they consented to go with him. She said whenever she let him know. He didn't,
That's exactly what I was about to say, Tamiria. Like, didn't he say, when you want to come, you call me? So he didn't entice, or whatever that was saying.
And that's what Jennifer's argument. Remember, that's Jennifer's argument on that. He didn't coerce, entice, induce, none of that.
And he didn't do anything knowingly, because she's already testified that she lied about her age. He didn't know anything.
Mm-hmm.
She lied. Her mama lied. The police essentially lied, because it was their duty to check that ID and say, this is your age. But if they missed it, I don't know. I don't understand how they can assume he should know better than them. They're legally trained.
Yeah, 1979 JCN. They're not charging him, but it looked like they did. Look at this. It says transportation of a minor in or about July 2015 within the District of Connecticut, and the defendant, Robert Sylvester Kelly, together with others, knowingly and intentionally transported an individual who had not attained the age of 18.
You know what? You know how it's strange, because he was on the bus and these people was flying. So how is he transporting them when he's not even with them in the same, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But they're trying to say he paid for it, right?
She's flying by herself. So that means she's flying by herself.
I believe they all got immunity. The parents all and the liars. I agree with you. Thank you, Mad Pill. I agree with you.
You think the parents got immunity? Even though you think the parents got immunity, even though they weren't allowed to be in the case?
Yes, they got immunity.
This is Sylvia speaking. I believe they could have. Because remember, they kept saying not to mention the parents.
Because they already had the evidence on the parents, but they just wanted to have those text messages to use in the against him. You see what I'm saying?
So then there will be no repercussions for any in the end of this. If
But then we're just giving our opinion. We don't know. We're just giving our opinion. We don't know for
speaking
sure.
hypothetical to what we're speaking on. Okay. There would be no repercussion for anyone, essentially, because the ones who did the crime have a deal.
Hold on a second. Sweet One says, read that back. It sounds like she was put in the indictment because her parents, not her cooperation at the time. She was saying she never had sex with R. Kelly. So I didn't think she went before a grand jury. But the grand jury state that they knowingly known her. So in order for them to add them onto the grand jury, like with the other uncharged Jane Does, they never went to the grand jury. That's why they just uncharged. But if somebody went to the grand jury, that means that the parents could not go for her. You understand what I'm saying? Somebody could put a story out there. They cannot go for you unless you go and cooperate and say to the grand jury. Just like they said that other girl was cooperating. You get what I mean? So they cannot just put you in there unless you're just part of the uncharged.
I thought they were uncharged because they didn't have enough evidence. They were
I know that for a fact. They can't just put anything in there unless they have somebody testifying to it. They put the bribery in there because Demetrius testified to it. They can't put you inside of grand jury unless someone is testifying. Who testified then? Her parents testified?
So everybody that testified had deals. That's already crooked right there. Everybody who testified had a deal, immunity. I'm sorry, Sylvia. Go ahead.
This is speculation, though.
No, I will let you talk. Huh?
I said, but this is speculation where we don't know this for sure.
What? We don't know that they testified?
No, we know that they were. We know that they didn't.
The parents could have spoken to her because of her age. She was 18. This indictment didn't come when she was underage. Because Geronda, if you look, they talk about Geronda being underage too, and she went. Let's read Geronda's part and what they say in the document. Geronda was number four, right? Hold on.
Which indictment are you on?
The first one. She was number
three.
Number 3. Okay. Thank you. It's been so many. Hold on. Let me read. If the reading is the same, that means it's the same thing. Okay, this is Geronda's right here. Okay, let's go back up a little bit more. Okay, let's go. All right, because remember, she's supposed to have been underage. In or about between May 2009 and January 2010, both date being approximate and inclusive, within the Northern District of Illinois and elsewhere, the defendant Robert Sylvester Kelly, together with others, did knowingly and intentionally persuade, induce, entice, and coerce an individual who had not attained the age of 18, to wit, Jane Doe, number 3, an individual whose identity is known. See, it stays the same. It's the same language. Whose identity is known to the grand jury to engage. See that I'm telling you, in order for them to get an indictment and put somebody as a charge, somebody has to testify to the grand jury. And she was considered underage. She was considered a minor too. See?
Well, what I can say is
no. Number 3 wasn't her. Let's see. Number 3 wasn't. This is the threat. The number 3 was Sonia. Hold on, we gotta go number. I think number 2 was what's the name?
My paper is in my backpack, but I believe
you're right. You just put another part of that same trial. You're right. They just put another part. I was reading.
What I could say is, for Geronda, say for instance, she would not testify. they could have then come after her for, let's see, fraud, because she has sued him. She has gone on TV making these claims, and then she's now saying, I don't want to testify. I'm not telling the truth. Wouldn't they be able to charge her? I'm just trying to think of the reasons why they could force these people into doing the things that they've done.
Mm-hmm. Mm.
Mm. And then for Azriel, her parents have broken the laws, so they could easily force, her hand by saying they could arrest her mom. That could be a reason for her.
But listen to this, sweet one. When they did that young lady, the one Lansfair had to go to the grand jury, and she denied it at the grand jury. She was underage at the time she went to grand jury. Well, she just turned 18, I think. Yeah. What was the question? Okay, I'm missing the question. Somebody put a question.
I think he was talking about what I said. What could force these people into having to testify? What could be their, not motives, but driving factors, maybe? I don't think her testifying was for money, Alvera. I think that her initial just, trying to sue him and getting the settlements was for money. And for the TV appearances were for money. But the testifying, I don't think she did that for money at all.
Hold on.
I'm trying to read you guys' comments. I'm not like Sylvia. I can't talk off the fly. This is what's the word? A talent. That Mad Peel, Sylvia, Inspiration, Of Heart, Purple Couch, you guys all have a skill to be able to sit up here and talk to people. Somebody else come up here with me. They didn't think it would get this far. I believe that. I don't think any of them thought that it would go this far. It's been so many years of Susan Loggins doing these settlements and them being able to just step away with a lump sum of money that they thought that would be what continued. And then they thought they could do the TV show because of the rumors, and that would be the end of it. Who would have known that then Kim Fox would step out and say, everybody who's ever been dealt with or who has dealt with R. Kelly, call and we're going to do something, She took it to the next level. Not for testimony. She had done the docu and the interviews is what I'm talking about. Yeah, I agree with you. I need more comments. Sylvia, come back. Don't leave me. Tamiria.
I'm right here. Hey, Gregory. Good afternoon, Gregory.
I'm here. I'm driving now. I'm driving again.
Help.
I didn't hear. I had got dropped. The phone call came through.
You left me up here alone.
In order for them to, there had to be some sort of testimony. You cannot just bring something in because you cannot bring something. They have to verify it with them. So they're gonna have to talk to the person that they're saying that was the charge. They cannot just add a person in there. So I'm telling you guys, they have to talk to the person who supposedly is the victim. They have to. They won't bring it in if that person did not talk to somebody. They're not going to bring that person in. I'm telling you that right now. That's a fact.
So
Charges
then,
cannot be brought in onto anything unless they could verify with that person. That's why they do, even when they have a kid that has been accused, the molestation or whatever thing happened, they have to interview that kid to see if something happened. They have to. So for them just to
Robert went
put,
to jail in what month?
huh?
He went to prison in what month?
The
Or jail.
July.
And they, yeah, because obviously the indictment had to come out for them to want to arrest him, right? Yeah. But obviously they were interviewing her or had interviewed her.
They had to interview. There's no possible way they would add a person to an indictment if
No,
there
what
was
I was
no
going to
interview
say was
done.
they interviewed her obviously before July or
Yeah.
before. So she was in the house with him and
Yeah.
had already gone
Mm-hmm.
and been interviewing with the feds. What was that whole story about the rat? Do you? I never fully got it. Who said she was a rat? Sylvia.
Hold on.
Anybody in the chat? Do y'all know that story? She says, "Oh, no cursing, right?" I was gonna read Pink Ice's comment. Kim Fox ain't ish. Her karma is coming. She's losing a lot of weight. Come on, we never know if her karma is already hidden. And it's election year, and I don't think Chicago is feeling her. So that may also be a portion of her karma. Anybody remember that story about someone telling Robert Azriel was a rat?
Well, he didn't believe her. He didn't believe him.
He didn't take, I mean, he didn't do anything about it, but it was said someone told him she was a rat. She did something with a telephone that made them say she was a rat. I just can't remember exactly what. Mm-mm-mm. But they knew. Any dates for that? It was so long ago, Lady Coltrane, I don't remember. Yeah, someone sent him a rat text because they caught her doing something. Who didn't think that Deronda? Oh, wait, JB. Who's JB? Who's JB? Deronda Pace? No, that's JB. Who's JP? Okay, Tamira, you're going to have to start talking to me, woman, because Sylvia done left again.
Okay, what's going on? I'm sorry. Trying to get some gas. What's up? Trying to
Oh,
get some gas.
Bonjean. Okay, so hold on, let me go back. I was thinking, I wasn't thinking Miss Bonjean was coming on the case. They weren't thinking that Miss Bonjean was going to
Right.
come.
Exactly. They definitely want to think of
Uh,
that.
Why do you think that is? Do you think that because they have blackballed Mr. Kelly so much that they thought no lawyer would want to defend him?
And I think
Like, why?
they had his lawyers in their back pocket because they showed one defending him, or they knew that
And
they
or do
wasn't
you think it's
experienced,
because they depleted his money so much that no one would take this on without the funds?
and they made him look like he was a monster. Yeah, that they thought that didn't nobody care what they were doing to him, and they just wanted everybody just wanted him to be convicted.
Okay. Yes, it was someone. Kelly was renting a house, I think, and he stayed at his house in Atlanta. And I think that's the person you're talking about. Bree, are you talking about that's the person who called her a rat? I can't remember the story, so that's what I was trying to get out of the sector. Somebody in this sector has to remember the story. Asriel is getting interviewed on Revolt. Yes, and we're supposed to be boycotting that. Don't watch it. Or at least if you watch it, don't share it. Unless she tell on herself. The government is hungry, probably gonna get a slice of the pie. The government has or not the government, but those lawyers have already been getting, paid well doing this case. And this case is going to do something for their career. So they don't care about them.
Okay. I got answer because I was going back to the to her testimony, y'all. Okay. Um. Sweet one. Yeah, you are correct because I went back to her testimony. Her parents did put her in there, and because they did put her as a minor, she did not have to testify. That's why they kept meeting her at the remember in her testimony, I'm sorry, I was downstairs. In her testimony, the agent was she had closed the door on their faces and stuff like that. They was trying to talk to her because they were basing the information for what her parent had given to them to verify some of the stuff, because they originally got the information from Santi McGee. Remember, Santi McGee told the parents, and then when sorry. We're gonna go read her testimony to add it all together.
Are we talking about Asriel?
Yeah, we're talking about Asriel. Yeah. Sweet one, thank you for reminding me, because I remember the testimony. We got to go back to the testimony where she was on the witness stand, what she said.
So Matt Pill just said that Asriel is doing an interview on Hollywood Unlocked.
Because she's trying to make money, yeah.
She is definitely trying to make money. She's probably going to also try to promote that song. You're on mute.
Look like she's on phone perspective.
She is.
I was just trying to explain it to my sister. She was asking.
All right, guys, I'm going to get off because I don't want to overload. And then when I come back, we'll go back into to talking about it, okay? So it is true, based on what I read, her testimony, they did not have to interview her because the parents, they put her down as a minor, meaning the parents can make what do you call it when somebody when is somebody make a complaint? The parent filed that complaint on her behalf because at the time she was a minor.
But they filed it when she was an adult, right? How can they still do that? How can I file an indictment or a charge for the past?
It's the government.
I'm biting my lips because my lips are dry. I looked at myself doing it. I was like, they're gonna think I'm chewing at my lips and something. My lips are dry. I don't do drugs, I promise.
Yeah, we're gonna go over the her testimony. I know we've gone over her testimony several times on this channel, but we need to put the pieces. No, we're not gonna say that word. We're gonna put the stuff together. You know what I'm about to say,
right? Okay, so you still Henny said it was a guy who was promoting Kels is the guy who sent the rat emoji. He had the b-ball court at his house. Do you remember the rat story, Sylvia?
What
Who
rat
sent Robert the picture of the rat regarding Azriel?
Oh, that was what's the name? That was the guy he used to live with. The guy that lives here in Georgia. What's his name? Oh my God. The one that Asante was. Oh my God. What's his name, y'all?
The cousin?
No, not cousin. What's his name? What's that guy name?
Why did he call her a rat? Julius?
No. The guy testified on the government side.
Was he the bus driver? Ruby Chris didn't testify. Who testified? Let's think. The bus driver, the guy who drove the girls around. What men testified? The tech guy, Daryl. Who's Daryl?
No, not Ruby Chris. The other one, sweet. What is
Who's
the name
Daryl?
of the guy? Oh my
Is
God.
it
what is his name?
Bubba?
No.
That
The guy
Bubba
that
is
lived
Ruby
with
Chris.
him. The guy that lived with him here in Georgia. Come on, y'all.
The guy that did the song with no, that guy was a young no. Was it the guy who asked to play the song? No, because he testified on Robert's behalf.
What is that guy's name, y'all?
Someone put Daryl. Who is Daryl? No, that's
Daryl Johnson. That's Daryl Johnson. No. What is that freaking guy's name? Oh my God, he lived with them in here. Oh my God, I got a brain. Come on, y'all.
Google.
All y'all in this chat, y'all don't remember? No, not nephew. No, not nephew. The one.
Is it the one that was wearing his jacket, Sylvia?
No.
Julius.
No. This is the one he lived with in Georgia here. Rob was living in his house. What is the guy's freaking name?
Okay, but I'm going to Google that. I'm going to figure that out. What was the story? Why did he say she was a rat? That's what I'm trying to remember.
It's in his transcript.
Really?
Yeah, it's in the transcript. Not James Mason. James Mason did not come in there. Not Blackie. Oh, God. Yeah, the one that was on the witness stand. Oh, my God. Let me go back into. Oh, my God. What is the guy's freaking name? Cheryl Mack worked with him. She was double dipping with Cheryl Mack. What's the freaking guy's name? Come on, y'all. What was the guy's name?
I don't know. But at least I'm not the only one who can't remember.
Name? Cheryl Mack worked with, because remember, Cheryl Mack was double dipping. And what?
Allegedly. I agree, but allegedly.
Taylor made. No, not Demetrius Smith. Oh my God. I hate when it gets me like this. What is that freaking guy's name? Oh my God. Hold on. I need to text a friend. Hold on.
I cannot find it, you guys. I don't remember any other guys testifying besides bus driver guy.
No, it was a guy.
Which one of them got mad and tried? No, that was the driver who tried to. throw some things out at the end of his
It wasn't
testimony.
Keith. Hold on. What is the name? Come on. Hold on. What is his name?
I guess that's a story for another day.
Hold
Investigation.
on. I got a text out to somebody. Okay, let me, if I can't find it, I'm gonna have to go through the transcripts. I'm having a brain cramp too because I can't remember.
They're going to trial for alleged sex.
Oh, what is that guy's name?
Is it June? No.
No. He testified. He was at the trial. What is his name?
Okay, well. Yeah, I don't know. I can't find it.
Oh my God. What is his name?
List of, let's see.
Jeffrey. Jeffrey, I don't remember no Jeffrey. Cool BJ said Jeffrey. I don't remember no Jeffrey. I don't remember nobody by the name of Jeffrey. The person worked with Cheryl Mack. Cheryl Mack was double dipping. Do you guys remember the name of the guy? Oh my God.
John Holder?
No.
I don't know. I'm like pulling that string because
This
none of
is
these names.
crazy. I hate that I have a brain freeze like this. Y'all, come on. What is the name of the guy?
Let's see.
Who put that guy name up?
Sorry. Oh, well, no name, but I'm trying to figure out what that story was. Who tried to warn Robert that she was a rat and he didn't take heed?
I'm done. I can't even think. Can't think. It is harder to remember. Bubba's real name is Jermaine. Bubba's real name is Jermaine. That's not who it is. Bubba never came to testify.
And I thought we were all pros in here. We better than this, people.
My brains.
Which one was Lewis? Oh no, that was John Doe. Never mind. Who is Larry Hood?
Thank you, Devin Devine. Thank you.
Somebody got good.
Thank you, good design. She wins it. Damn it.
Good job, good design. I don't know who that is.
Thank you. That's who it was. I couldn't think, Lord have mercy. I couldn't think.
Devin Devine.
Oh my God. Thank you. I could not think of the man's name for nothing.
Winner. Where's the trophy? Now tell us the story.
My brains was being fried for a moment.
So now we need the story. So next time we come back, somebody remind me of what the story was. Why was he calling her a rat? What did she do?
Look, that's a little bit too much now. You're asking us too much.
There was a reason she was a rat. And why, if he thought she was a rat, why was he on prosecution's side? You said he testified?
Yeah, he testified at court, yeah.
I went back and listened to notes you and Dottie read from the hotel. That is so funny. You are good, girl. Now, what was the story since you listened to it? Tell me. Where's the movie? See, now we all have an assignment. Who is Devin Devine? Because I'm going to look. I'm going to look. I'm going to remember now.
I'm not going there. I'm not going there with y'all. You're a little going too much.
Who are you and where did you come from? We're going to look for you now.
I give up. I'm done. We're done for the day, guys. Thank you so much for joggling my brain. Hold on a second. Hold on. Hello? 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 Huh?
You know, it's funny. Isn't there a singer named Devin Devon right now? Let me let me you up. You can have. Is that Devin Devon? I didn't get to the story, but it talks about Cheryl transitioned from Devin's payroll to Robert's. You keep on spelling the
All right,
name.
good people. I gotta get off this live. I gotta go make some money, okay? I gotta go work. I gotta pay bills. I'll see you later, guys. Bye.
Bye. Thanks for. I got the link, y'all. All right.